evening, Year 11. Your final maths paper, paper 3, is tomorrow morning, and this is your night before news video. Just going to go over some last minute tips and what are the possible topics that might come up tomorrow morning. Again, make sure that you're only watching this video if you do higher, and you can switch to the foundation video if that's not for you. So it is the final paper, which means at this point we know the most that we have known over any of the other papers so far. So paper 1 and 2, tick, they are done. So now we have to think very carefully about, what has not come up yet. Splitting that into two, what high frequency topics have not come up yet, and could seen topics come up again? Thinking about what you should focus on your revision, it does make a bit more sense to think about things that haven't come up yet, and the high frequency topics in particular that have not come up yet. So topics that tend to come up in almost every single exam series. If we haven't seen those yet, that could be a big indication that they are in the paper tomorrow. So again, another disclaimer, because it is important, this isn't a guarantee that these topics will be in the paper tomorrow because they are still unseen. We are not examiners and we don't know what will be in the paper, but we have analysed past exam series against paper 1 and paper 2 to create our best guess revision hits list. So on that note, let's have a look at topics that we do think are quite likely to come up, and these should be your high priority revision topics if you're going to do some last minute revision this evening. Angles in parallel lines, expanding triple brackets, standard form, transformations, graphs, so maybe plotting, quadratic graph, a cubic graph. It could be interpreting, maybe finding roots, finding solutions. Converting recurring decimals to fractions, make sure you do focus on ensuring that you use the correct recurring notation. More trigonometry or Pythagoras, equation of a tangent, algebraic proof. What are some topics then that are likely, but maybe slightly less high frequency? So we've got more index laws, factorising, more ratio. Ratio is quite a big strand in GCSE maths, and we haven't seen that much of it yet so far. Some reverse percentages or percentage change, equations of circles, more sequences, perhaps some non-linear simultaneous equations. We've had some linear ones now, so maybe some non-linear ones. And then again, there's always a possibility there might be some more unseen topics. So for example, some further trigonometry. But again, that should not be your focus, and you shouldn't be trying to work on those tonight. We know that that's something that you still need to be taught. So back to the same sort of tips then of now you sort of know the topics that you should be thinking about prioritising. You can always go back and pause and screenshot that. What should you do tonight? So being topic specific is probably the way to go this evening. So make sure that you are thinking about those high priority topics and picking the best one for you. If you go for a full paper, chances are that paper might include a lot of things that we just don't think you're going to see again, or you'll end up revising things that have definitely been tested and they could come up again, but it does make a bit more sense to focus on those high priority unseen topics. So you've got Sparks Maths, you've got Exam Q. So if you go onto Exam Q, check that you're on higher and check that you have selected paper 2 and paper 3. I know that paper 2 has been and gone. However, as we said before, the topics, that could have been on paper 2 a couple of years ago might be on paper 3 in this paper. So they swap and change that around, and then type into that box what your topic is that you have decided to focus on. It could be quadratic sequences, although that was in paper 2, so I would perhaps advise not doing quadratic sequences. And then you've got the mark scheme again, which will tell you if you've got your question correct or not, and how many marks your answer would be worth. There is the Maths Genie website, which again is a great resource for topic revision. You can just get booklets of questions full of a specific topic, and they're exam style questions as well. So if you go onto Maths Genie, make sure you click on GCSE revision or on that button, and it will take you to a list of topics where you can scroll down and select the one that you would like to revise. Additionally, you have Core Bit Maths. So if you Google Core Bit Maths, it will come up and you can click on it and you can get your videos and your worksheets. When you click on that, it's a long alphabetized list of your topics. So for example, percentages, we did say we think there might be some more percentages questions that come up. So scroll down till you find percentages and then click on the practice questions. You will find that there is this big pink button for answers. So click on that and you can get the answers to those questions. If you do feel like doing a practice paper, maybe you just want to get that full experience of doing a paper this evening, then Maths Genie is the way to go. So go onto Maths Genie, click on GCSE papers, then Excel exam papers, and feel free to use paper 2s and paper 3s, but stay away from any paper 1s that are in there for the time being, because it will be a bit of a different experience than a calculator paper. That brings us again then to tomorrow morning, so the morning of the exam. The hub will be open from 7 again, so I'd advise coming in nice and early so that it gets some revision done. If you are going to do that, please bring some questions that you haven't been able to answer, just so there's a bit of a direction for the use of your time in that morning, and you'll have maths teachers that are available there that will be able to help fix anything that you're not so sure about. There will be revision in the conservatory and the canteen from 8, and again you're going to get one of these breakfast revision grids, and lots of maths teachers around to help you with any last minute queries, questions or concerns. And then 8:25 will be in a lineup and then heading over to the arena for your final maths paper in this mock. That'll be everything for this video then, and so the last thing to say is just good luck.